Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you might want to sit down.
It's going to be one of those.
Okay.
All right.
So, got a call from Brownies. Victoria's stomach's hurting. So, go and pick her up. She says her stomach's hurting at 3. I probably reckon it's probably more like a 6 because she's bent over slightly. But you know she's tough, so. We'll bring her home, lie her on the sofa, give her the Calpol, get her into some comfy clothes. And I'm aware we're on our last tablet of these. Okay? So I'm having a little look through Google, and I'm wondering whether Rennie's do a kids version, and I find out that Gaviscon do an antacid for kids.
Okay.
So I've been wondering whether whether it would give her any relief, and whether she can take them alongside of these tablets. So I've tried phoning Alder Hay, but there's no one at Alder Hay to speak to me with regards to that. I have to phone back at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. So
Unless we want to take her into A&E.
Unless I want to take her into Alder Hay A&E.
Okay.
Which is what the switchboard operator has recommended.
Okay.
Now, we know A&E can't do anything for her.
Yeah, we've been down that road a number of times. Yep.
So, wanting my question answered, I've phoned NHS 111. Oh my God.
They're under the coronavirus, like tens of thousands of calls per day, but go on.
Yeah, so I expected to be in a queue for a long time.
Okay.
Now,
they were like, oh, a non-coronavirus call? What?
Well, I went through about 3 options, maybe 4. All saying, if you want to talk about coronavirus, press this number. If you want to talk about coronavirus, press this number.
They've got a specialized team for that now,
right.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
They've got you 3 signposts posting towards it.
Okay.
So,
oh, good on them.
I eventually get to say, no, it's something else. There are other things going on in the world but coronavirus.
Okay.
So I get put through to this woman, and she's asking me all the usual questions: date of birth, where are they now, are they hot, is the pain at a certain side, and they're going through all the checklists. So I understand all that.
Okay.
And I can hear her typing in the background, and she's getting it all
in there,
all logged.
Okay.
And whatever else. So she's pulled up Victoria's records, and she knows about Seabrook's surgery, and she knows all those details.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So eventually she recommends that she's going to get a clinician to phone me back in the next hour. Okay. And in the meantime, I can go and speak to the pharmacist. I'll find out which one's open in your area, which I already know which one's open in my area.
Okay.
And at what time. But she starts to try and give me the phone number and all the rest of it. It's okay. And I have explained all about Victoria's history. So, that phone call ends. And fair play, I was through quite quick. And when the second phone call came from a clinician, it was only about 10-15 minutes. So the response time, absolutely fantastic. Now, this next woman who I spoke to was pretty short and shirty with me. Okay, so she starts to go through and ask her exactly the same questions that the first one's just asked.
Right. Why do you think she was short and shirty with you?
I have absolutely no idea. She seemed to be more interested in telling me stuff rather than listening to what I had to say.
Okay.
So she comes up with the conclusion that we should stop giving her all the medicine, right, apart from paracetamol, and that she's going to get a doctor sent through. Now, this is after the first one wanted to send an ambulance round, okay?
Okay.
Or us take her into A&E.
Okay.
The second one, even though I explained she's not listened to me properly, and she's talking about taking Victoria to A&E, which is not the point. When I've mentioned that I'm just trying to find out whether I can give infant antacid to her or under sevens antacids to her alongside this, she's told me, well, I need to read the leaflet. Now, I've not got the leaflet in front of me, but it's this big, right? 2 sides of tiny writing. How am I meant to know? Where am I meant to look? Okay, that's going to take me all night to read through that. Because you know what gobbledygook that's all written in, right? Trying to figure it all out. I'll be spending half my night on the bloody thesaurus. So, eventually, she says, I'm going to get an out-of-hours GP doctor to call us. An out-of-hours GP. What's the point in that? When she already knows we're under Alder Hay.
We're trying to find the right appropriate level of care for Victoria at this time.
That's what we're trying to do.
Where at least Annie hadn't been able to perform because when our daughter's in pain and they've not been able to relieve it, and in hospital, we're sitting there with her in hospital while she's writhing in pain until it passes. And nothing's changed. Yeah,
Exactly. I'm a little exasperated.
A number of times for that. Yeah.
So I get a third phone call, which is just before you came downstairs.
Okay.
Okay. From the triage nurse at the hospital.
Okay. At Alder Hay, yeah?
No, at Wigan.
At Wigan. Okay. Go on.
Okay. Or at least I think it was from Wigan.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't Alder Hay.
Okay.
But I think it was a triage nurse from the accident and emergency.
Okay.
So.
Well, they're trying to reach out, but go on.
Right. So she's phoned me. Mm-hmm. She checks Victoria's details again. What's her name? What's her date of birth? Blah 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 blah. She says, I've seen on her notes that she's had rhabdomyosarcoma, etc. Do you need to speak to a doctor? And at this point, I've already got my answer, because the shirty woman on the second phone call has told me that if I'd read the leaflet, it says clearly on the leaflet, which it doesn't, clearly on the leaflet that she shouldn't take any other antacids with this.
Okay.
So that was my answer. Okay. Now that's taken nearly 2.5 hours.
Okay.
In total.
But even so,
that waiting for the third phone call.
Even so, that wouldn't have solved what Victoria's episode tonight was.
No. So I've basically told her we're already waiting for the endoscopy that we're having on the 15th of April. Mm-hmm. Okay, which is something like 6 weeks from when it was first ordered. 6 weeks for a kid.
They told us 6 weeks. They told us it would have gone longer because of Easter holidays. So the fact that we got it on Easter holidays, I'm somewhat grateful. It's not good enough, but
it's absolutely ridiculous.
You know, the gastroenterologist, when I talked to her in hospital, last week when we were last in, that's within the expectations there. It's not great. It is poor, but it's not great.
And so at that point, there's nothing the doctor can do. Absolutely nothing. There is no point in speaking to him.
Yeah.
NHS 111 hasn't listened to me for what I was saying. They even got some repeated information wrong back. They wanted to try and send an ambulance out, even though I'm saying no. And all the while, I'm feeling like this is being logged to social services. Do you
No.
understand what I mean?
Yeah. Come, social services. Come help us. Please. Please come help us.
So it's been a colossal waste of time. The only benefit I can see is I feel like I've done something, even though when it comes down to it, I have not achieved anything.
Meanwhile, she went through
all
another
the talking.
evening of pain.
She's had another evening of pain from 7:30 till just after 9.
When she's asleep now, yeah?
Yeah, she's asleep now, and she seems to be settling down.
Yeah.
But I've got nothing. And all we can do is wait for the endoscopy on the 15th. Then hopefully we will get some answers if it is an ulcer.
Or if
Or
it's anything
celiacs.
else. Or anything that they can see in
Or
there.
anything they can see. If they don't find anything this time,
What next?
what next? And it's just a waiting game. And while we're waiting, there's a little girl over there who is getting pretty.
I just heard her moan.
Yeah, it was in pain, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
But
Let me cut it
What
so
else
that
can
we
we
can
do?
see. We need to go see to her, so yeah.